If you're watching this video, you are probably considering buying a home here on Lake Lanier, and why wouldn't you? It is one of Georgia's most sought after lake house locations, and it has so much to offer. But before you buy a house here, there are some things that you need to know. And first, you need to know that it comes with a pretty hefty price tag. Today, we're going to be showing you 3 different homes, pointing out all the quirks and things that you need to consider before thinking about buying a home on Lake Lanier. Hi, I'm Sarah Maslowski with KeyPoint Homes Group, a local real estate agent right here in the North Metro Atlanta area, and I help people from all over relocate right here from all over the country and world. As a Lake Lanier resident myself, I know how challenging it can be owning a home on Lake Lanier, and finding that perfect home is an elusive thing that, well, you're never going to find unless you have endless supplies of money. The location of Lake Lanier cannot be beat. You are just 60 miles-ish north of Metro Atlanta. So if you are someone that's wanting to enjoy both lake and city life, this is going to be a perfect lake destination for your lake home, whether it's a second home or your primary home. Lake Lanier is huge. It spans over 34,000 acres and has almost 700 miles of shoreline. So you have plenty of options to choose from where you want to be on the lake, and plenty of lake houses as well. Homes on the south end on the lake are going to sell for a higher price because of that closer proximity to Atlanta. You're closer to a lot more restaurants and development, retail amenities, and everything that you can think of, including being really close to major highway access. You compare that to homes that are located on the north end of the lake in North Hall County, up in Gainesville, and some of the smaller areas like Murrayville. Those homes are going to sell for a lot less, or you're going to get a lot more for your money up on that part of the lake because it's further away and it's a little bit more rural compared to the south end of the lake. But no matter how you slice it or where you're at on the lake, it's going to cost you significantly more than what a traditional home is going to look like here in this area. Looking at this house from the outside, it may not appear to be much, but this is indicative of what a lot of homes here on Lake Lanier look like. A lot of these homes were built here in the 60s and 70s. Some have been renovated and some have not. Today we're here at this fantastic home located right in the heart of Cumming in Forsyth County, and I'm going to take you inside to show you what a fantastic remodel looks like. Let's go inside and check out this great 5-bedroom, 5.5 bathroom home on a finished basement. So this home is a fantastic remodel. It's completely done, and they've changed it from kind of like that closed, cramped space to this big open space. And one thing that is unique about this house is that you have somewhat of a lake view. And I say somewhat is because this home sits really close to the water's edge, which is rare when it comes to homes here on Lake Lanier. You do get somewhat of a view, but you do have trees that are back there blocking your view a tad bit. But if you want to go from eating lunch to on the boat in less than a minute, this is the house for you. One of the things that you will find whenever you're touring these homes on Lake Lanier, especially remodeled houses, is oftentimes there's going to be a few little quirks with them. So you'll notice here that the floor is slightly sloped, and even though they've done a fantastic job remodeling, it's just one of those things that kind of comes with an older home. You're going to have some settling, some corners that aren't exactly square, and things are not going to be perfect like it is in a new build. And those are just things that you have to kind of learn to live with if you're considering an older remodel here on Lake Lanier. The details in this home are fantastic, and you can tell that the person that owns this has spared no detail when it comes to all of the amazing upgrades that you have. And in fact, you have tons of space in this home. You have 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, and the master suite upstairs is pretty killer too. With over 3,400 of square feet in this house and 5 bedrooms, you may be thinking this would be the perfect investment property to have as an Airbnb. And while that may be true, you've got to be careful about where you have an Airbnb. On Lake Lanier, specifically in Forsyth County, the county has specific rules when it comes to Airbnbs, and for the most part, they do not allow them at all. Typically only over 30-day rental terms, and it has to be on land that's zoned agricultural. Now, you're still going to see some homes listed on Airbnb in Forsyth County, but buyer beware. With every Lake Lanier home comes a bit of some quirks, especially when it comes to the exterior of the house. And when it comes to valuing the house, there's quite a few factors that go into this. First, let's talk about the location of where the house is on the lake. That is going to be one of the more important factors when it comes to home prices and home values. The second thing that's going to determine the value of the home is going to be the walk to the dock. Now, this home's a little bit tricky because we have a short walk to the dock, but you'll see behind me, there are a ton of stairs to get down to this dock. And the stairs are quite steep and small because, well, they were likely built in the 60s or 70s. In fact, my videographer mentioned as he was walking down here that his feet didn't even fit all the way on the stairs. Now, this is something to keep in mind because when you're enjoying those great lake days, imagine yourself bringing coolers and towels and those multiple trips up and down from the dock to the house to go to the bathroom, all of those good things. A few stairs becomes quite grueling when you're making your 4th or 5th trip back to the house that day. One of the perks of this location of the house is that you are just seconds away from nice big open water here on Lake Lanier, which can be a huge advantage, especially if you are hanging out with friends, frequently going out and want to be in the center of it all. This is a fantastic location. But if you value privacy and you want to maybe not see your neighbors or be able to step out your back deck and see what they're having for dinner on their back deck, this is not going to be the right house for you. If the last house wasn't your style, well, then this one is probably more up your alley. This is more of a traditional build and probably what you think about when you just think about a nice big home in a traditional Georgian neighborhood. In fact, if you were driving by this house, you probably wouldn't even know that it was on Lake Lanier. Like the last house, this home has plenty of space with 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, and over 6,000 square feet with a finished basement. You are going to have plenty of room to entertain to your heart's desire. Let's go check this one out. So unlike the first house where you could actually see the water from the home, this house is a little bit different, as you can see. So we are actually standing kind of essentially right where the Army Corp of Engineer lines start, meaning that everything towards the house, you can do anything you want to it, right? Everything towards the lake, this is all owned by the Army Corp of Engineers. You cannot touch these trees. You can't trim them, you can't cut them down. You can get special permission if the tree is dead, you have to get a permit. There's a whole big thing about that. But that is why you see all of these trees behind, and that answers the question of like, why can't you just cut down the trees? You can't, the Army Corp of Engineer will not allow it. So we have this nice, gentle path down here to the dock. And this is one of the trade-offs that you're going to see with homes like this. So you're getting more of a traditional neighborhood vibe. You're getting more of a traditional house. The trade-off though is that you're likely not going to have an amazing view of the lake or be very close to the water, or you're gonna have to deal with a lot of trees. So it's not completely unusual to have a path like this to your dock where it's a little bit kind of over the river and through the woods. Sometimes the path is a little bit meandering and you'll see that it's completely mulch here on the pathway. I often have clients ask like, can I pave this? And I would like to have like an easier path to my dock. And again, that answer is no. This is the only thing that the Army Corp of Engineers will allow here on the property. Now you'll see here that we're about to cross over this little bridge. The Army Corps will allow something like this if there's like a big trench here or gully, or what is this called, a ravine, that you actually need a structure to get over. Again, you have to have permit and special permission to have things like this. Now, even though this path feels like quite a distance from the house, overall, it's a very gentle, easy walk down to this dock. Now, remember that first house where we climbed like 75 stairs and you were huffing and puffing, or at least I was, by the time I got up to the top of the stairs? Imagine having to carry coolers and things like that. So at least this way you have a little bit more of a gentle path, and if you have a medical necessity, wink, wink, ask your doctor for a note, you can get permission to have a golf cart or some sort of motorized gator or something like that that can bring you down here to your dock. And this would be the perfect house for this because the slope is so gentle going down to your dock. We had a gentle walk down here to this great, big, beautiful double slip dock. And if you notice, when we were at the first house, it only had a single slip dock. And you have to have enough space and a permit from the Army Corp of Engineers in order to have a double slip dock. So this is something that is unique about this house, meaning that you can have 2 boats here at this dock. Now, you are legally allowed to tie boats to the side. So even if you have a single slip dock, but let's say you have another boat or jet skis or things like that, you can tie those up to the side of your dock. You just can't impede on the ability for your neighbor and their neighboring dock to have access to their dock. A common question I often get asked by clients when we're searching for lake houses is, hey, we really like a dock that has the double decker or the party deck is what we like to call them. And any boat slip can have this party deck. It's not something that has to be permitted. Obviously, you just have to have a dock that has this design. Now, let's say that you are buying a house, it doesn't have this, or the dock has seen better days. You can replace that dock with a new one, or you can get a gently used one that maybe someone else is upgrading for their dock. You just have to make plans for how you're gonna get rid of that old dock. So you have to get it permitted and you have to dispose of it properly, which costs money. Now, docks can be very expensive. So if you're looking at a new dock, something that's really nice and recently built within the past, 5 years or so, you're looking at an expense, depending upon the design, between $60,000 to sometimes even over $100,000 just for the dock. You'll notice at this dock where this home is on Lake Lanier, this is back in a cove. And so you've got a little bit more privacy. It's a lot less crowded than the first house that we were at. Now, personally, it's personal preference, but I like being in a cove that's nice and quiet. That means that you can enjoy great times out here hanging out on your dock without having to worry about too much boat traffic or people going by. Really, it's just the neighbors that you have around you. So the less boat slips that you have around you, the less boat traffic, less wake, less wear and tear on your dock. So those are things to keep in mind. Now, the disadvantages of being in a cove is that you don't necessarily have the deepest of waters. And the farther back you are into the cove, well, when the lake levels rise and go down, the homes in the back of the cove are the ones that are going to feel the effects of that lake level dropping the most first, meaning that in time periods of extreme drought, you may be without water underneath your dock. Whereas homes that are in kind of like that middle position or closer to open water, those homes are going to feel any drastic lake level drops less than homes in the back of the cove. So there's pros and cons with where you're at on the lake, but I personally love being in a cove. Another cool thing about this dock is that you've got some really great wheels here. The importance of this is that because those lake levels rise and fall, you have to move your dock in and out. Now, there's dock management companies that can do this for you, or having a dock where you have wheels on the end of it like this makes it a much easier task. These are things that can be added, but as you're looking for lake homes, just know that this is a great perk if the dock in place already has these wheels and they're on a ramp. Now, you're gonna see up here that there is an electrical pole. So not every home here on the lake has electric access. You can apply for a permit to get electrical access, but you've also got to pay to have the wires ran and everything that comes along with it. So having a dock that already has electric access is such a plus, especially if you have a boat that needs to be on a boat lift out of the water. I have seen where some homeowners that don't have electric access at their dock where they use solar systems and batteries to power their boat lift, but this just makes lake life so much easier when you have power down at your dock. Last but not least on our list is this great home in Gainesville, located about 20 minutes north of downtown Gainesville. And dare I say, I think we saved the best house for last. Now, from the outside, this home doesn't appear to be much, but inside you're gonna find almost 6,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms and 5.5 bathrooms, and wait until you see what waits for you in the backyard. This home has great bones in the fact that it has this finished basement with a kitchen down here. So this can make for a great in-law suite. Or if you're, wanting easy access to food and stuff like that when you're down at the dock. Another great bonus of this house is that, well, it has a dance studio, I guess, or you could, make up your own plays and do anything that you want to do down here. It comes complete with a disco ball. So if you are looking for a home that has the easiest walk to your dock, this home tops the list. You cannot find an easier walk to your dock. You've got such gentle sloping, and you have the bonus of having grass to the water's edge. Now, this is so unique on Lake Lanier because these lots are grandfathered in. They do not allow you to take down trees and have grass all the way to the water's edge. Homes that are on a lot just like this, where you've got a nice gentle slope, you've got views from every room in the house, and you've got grass to the water's edge, you are going to pay a premium. So it's no surprise that this house is at the top of our budget here of the 3 homes that we've seen, coming in at a price tag at just $1.6 million. So if you're someone that really likes enjoying the lake slowly, you enjoy a nice cruise in the evening, and you don't want to be around all the hustle and bustle of the lake, this location is going to be perfect. You're going to notice that although this isn't technically a cove, you're in kind of more of an open water situation, and you've got lots of great spacing in between the docks here, but still maintaining really great views. Again, this is contributing factor to the pricing of this house. Now, one thing that you have noticed about the 3 homes that we've seen today is that while they're all high in price tags, I think you could arguably say that this is probably the least impressive house, interior-wise, of the homes that we've seen. So when it comes to pricing homes on Lake Lanier, definitely this walk to the dock, views, and grass to the water's edge is going to give way more value to a house than the actual interior of the home. So it's not unusual to see such a high price tag on a home like this. We're at 1.6. And as you can see, the house needs a little bit of update. Someone would likely want to come in and make that living room space a little bit more open. It is not unusual to see a price tag like this and the home still needing a lot of updates. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Would you pay $1.6 million for this home? Let me know in the comments. Now, if $1.6 million is not in your budget and you're still thinking about making a move to the lake, there are more affordable options, but typically to get a home that is somewhat move-in ready, you're looking at a price tag of at least $600,000 if you are wanting a dedicated boat slip with your house. So if those are things that you're looking for, reach out. We would love to help you with your move, finding the perfect home here on Lake Lanier. There is so much that goes into buying a house on Lake Lanier, from the walk to the dock, the type of dock, whether or not you have electricity, the steepness, stairs, all of those things. And you can see even at a $1 million price point, these things play heavily into the type of house that you're going to get. If you're thinking about making a move to Lake Lanier or anywhere in the North Metro Atlanta area, my team and I would love to help you make this move. You can find my contact information in the pinned comment directly beneath this video. For more information on what it's like living here on Lake Lanier, make sure you check out this video next. And to keep up to date with everything that's happening here in the North Metro Atlanta area, make sure you're following me on Instagram, where we post daily about all new businesses, developments, and things you need to know.